So little nugget didn't make it. So here are the 3 last eggs that I was really hoping would hatch, but this is day 25 and no activity at all. And the moms have left the nest. I think they've given up. I feel awful because they really wanted to be mamas, but man, just was not expecting this end of all dead babies, and they all died in their shell except for the one, and our new mamas didn't really take good care of them, so it's just so sad. It's like our mamas have given up, starting to cool themselves down, and I think they'll be returning to the nest, and if they do, it's empty. We'll see what happens. If they still show signs of wanting to hatch some eggs, then we'll give them some fertilized eggs and we'll try again, except this time I'm doing things very differently. I'll be going over shortly exactly what went wrong and what we will do differently next time to ensure at least a little bit of a better hatch rate. Alright, so here's the last 3. Ooh, one of them actually cracked open when I put it on the table. That's just lovely. There's the membrane. You can see that. Oof. Ew. Wow. Number 1. Let's see if we can... Oh, squirted. Okay. Yeah, my daughter wanted to come out here and see this. I said, no, you do not want to see this, and you do not want to smell it either, because it's not pretty at all. So this one here seems to be teeny tiny, barely even... Oh, now the flies are going crazy. Yeah, there's like this. There's a chick. Very small. Did not develop very much. I think it probably stopped after, I don't know, the last week maybe. Just a little one. Oh, whew, yeah. So, like I said, that smells really bad. Here's another one. Oh, poor baby. So this one here, oh, poor babe. This one here was very developed. Poor baby. Aww. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like he tried to peck through and he just couldn't make it. Poor baby. Alright, last one. I can't even get through the sack. What is that? Some like white film. I don't know if you can see that. Like some kind of what is that? I'm not sure what that is, but oh man. Aww. Yeah, this one, another one that was very developed and ready to go. He did not make it. Poor baby. Alright, well, I'm going to get rid of this because the flies are going crazy, and I really would rather not touch it or have all these flies all over me, so yeah. I'm so sorry. Oh, they're going to be very upset once they realize their eggs are gone. The flies were all over the eggs when I came out here because they had gotten up to eat. I feel so bad. They are not happy right now. Maybe I'll just give them a golf ball to sit on for a little while. Golf ball. Hey, come here. You want to sit? Here you go. There you go. Go sit on it. Go sit on it. There you go. Sit on it. There you go. Don't fight over it. It's probably what happened to the last baby that died. What went wrong? There are a number of things that happened that are extremely unconventional, like 2 brooding hens in one nest, that I decided to just let them do their thing because I was trying to just stay out of it, not interfere with nature, and they're brooding together. Let them brood together. Number 1, that's probably something I should have done differently. Separated them into 2 separate nesting boxes in probably 2 separate brooding cages. So that was number 1. Number 2, by the time I realized that they were brooding, I didn't take into consideration that the nest they were in was the community favorite nest, the preferred nest. So I noticed that the other hens weren't laying, and I found it odd. And then 1 week in, when I did the candling, I realized that I had more eggs than originally. I think originally it was like 5 or 6, and then next thing you know, I had almost 12. So they were not all from the same hen, and they were not all laid at the same time. That was number 2. So I should have been checking from day 1 to make sure I pulled any extra eggs out. And that also contributed to it being a very crowded box, meaning possibly some eggs were not being incubated properly. There were a few occasions where I did walk out there and notice that, especially with one of them being so small, and the other hen, who's much larger, was taking a rest or not in the nesting box, there would be an egg or 2 or 3 that were not under her, and I'd have to push them under, and they barely fit. 12 eggs, all different sizes, but still. So that could have been a factor as well, because a lot of our eggs were not completely full term. Some of them were probably a week and a half to 2 weeks in. Now, we did have quite a few that were ready to come out, and for whatever reason they did not. Not quite sure. Again, probably has to do with temperature, and they probably were not being sat on properly because of there being too many eggs, and again, 2 hens getting up and down and sharing space. Those are all things that I feel guilty for. Those are things that I could have prevented. So definitely could have had a better hatch rate if I would have just had more experience and known what to look for, instead of realizing 3 days late, oh, I need to start checking, make sure there aren't any more eggs under there. Or, oh, I need to move my broody hen in the dark with her eggs into a broody cage that I made way too late and was unable to move them because it was too late. I tried and it didn't go well, so I had to move them back. So that is another problem. What else? Also, I had my daughters go out there on several occasions. They wanted to just check on the moms and the eggs. I failed to make it a point to tell them not to touch the eggs, not to shake the eggs. I don't know, that crossed my mind that possibly one of the kids, specifically my youngest, my 5-year-old, could have possibly shooken an egg or 2 or 3, not knowing that she wasn't supposed to do so. So that's something I need to make sure I talk to them about. Because if they shake the egg, that would most likely kill the chick. What else? What else did I do wrong? What else could have been prevented? You know, and honestly, even if I would have done everything right, I mean, we could have had the same outcome. I really don't know. It could have just been unavoidable. Now, when it comes to the chick that was born, little Nugget, poor baby, he died 2 days after hatching because I believe he was squished between mama and egg because they were still sitting on eggs. I wanted to move him or her, and a mama. I was afraid to move them because of there still being eggs. I thought the mama might neglect the baby or get too stressed out and hurt him if I moved just a hen and baby to the brooder cage alone and left the other one to sit on the eggs. That was one thought. Another thought was if I moved all the eggs in there as well, and I would have just let them do their thing, but then he probably would have gotten squished as well. That probably wouldn't have changed anything. And then the third option would have been to put him inside the house with a heat lamp. Now, I wish I would have decided to do that a day earlier, because the morning that I found him squished is the morning or the night before I decided I'm going to buy a heat lamp tomorrow and I'm going to take him out because I was worried about him. Talk about guilt. I feel extremely guilty about that one. But again, being so new to this is an experience, and I'm going to do so many things differently next time. And it's really sad that it had to happen this way and a bunch of little babies to die. But, I mean, I'm at a loss for words. So that's my list of what not to do. Do not make the same mistakes I did. And yes, although you should allow nature to do its thing and not interfere as best as possible, which was my goal, I interfered too little by not moving the 2 brooding hens, separating them, and not Nala, get out of there! Sorry, my dog. And not moving the 2 broody hens before it was too late. And not checking to make sure there weren't any extra eggs in the nesting box. So that's my detailed list of my failures for this hatching. A few things that were indeed my fault that I feel awful about. But I think we're going to try again because they're both still sitting in the box. I gave them a golf ball to sit on. They're sitting there, and I'm going to collect some eggs, some of my fertilized eggs, and I'm going to separate them, and we are going to try again the right way. So, see what happens. Stay tuned for next hatching. Hopefully have at least one chick hatch. So, thanks for watching. And don't make the same mistakes I did. If this is your first time, please, 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 please do not do any of those things. You will regret it tremendously and feel guilty and cry about it because you feel so darn guilty. So I will see you in the next video, and hopefully it'll be a happy video. You're such a sweetie pie.